Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
It's our literature unit.
Yep.
And it's day 2. So you know what we do, guys? We talk about the author and the author's life. And he's a really famous guy. He's written several very good books, especially for kids.
Yep.
He's got a great imagination. His name is Roald Dahl. And he is the author of numerous best-selling books. So one of them we're going to talk about today in particular. We've already talked about it. The plot, at least, is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But we're going to talk more about his background. I love this part of the literature unit. I love to hear about people's lives.
Yeah.
So let's go, Tom. It's your turn to read.
Okay.
So get serious here. We got to read, and then we'll be back to discuss it.
Widely known as one of the greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century, Roald Dahl was the author of numerous best-selling children's books. One would think with such a prestigious title, Dahl must have been a talented writer since childhood. As one of his former English teachers put it, however, I have never met anybody who so persistently writes words meaning the exact opposite of what was intended. Dahl eventually cultivated an inventive writing style of his own, and many of his novels are full of made-up words, such as fizz wizards and scrumdiddlyumptious. In fact, it was this unique style that helped Dahl sell more than 20 million copies of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which has also been translated into 55 languages. Much of Dahl's writing was influenced by his own childhood experiences. One notable example from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the factory itself. During Dahl's school days, 2 of the UK's largest chocolate makers, Cadbury and Rowntree's, frequently sent test packages of chocolate to school children in return for their opinions on their new products. Over time, the rivalry between the 2 companies became so intense that they even began to pilfer trade secrets from each other through spies. Eventually, excessive secrecy became the standard operating procedure in chocolate factories, which is reflected in the novel's main setting, Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Beyond this, Dahl's stories typically focus on kind characters triumphing over the greedy and wicked. Indeed, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory follows Charlie on an adventure through a candy wonderland, all the while exhibiting how his virtuous character contrasts with the negative traits of his rivals. As Dahl's most famous work, it captures not just the hearts of children, but of all those who bury themselves in this timeless book.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started talking about Roald Dahl. It's a weird first name, guys, even for us. He's British, so It's a little weird. Roald Dahl. Dahl is kind of different too, actually. Just say it like D-O-L, like a baby doll. Widely known as one of the greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century. Wow. That's a pretty wonderful statement about him, but I agree. He's written some really cute things for kids. And they've been made into films, too. Let's talk about his background. He's the author of numerous best-selling children's books. Numerous just means a lot of whatever you've got. Many best-selling children's books. As you know, we have this list called the bestsellers list from different organizations, one being like the New York Times that comes to mind. So he is somebody who's not only written good books, they're bestsellers. So he's been very, very successful.
He has, and there are many other books as well, like James and the Giant Peach, which I believe was also made into a movie.
Yeah.
And that was quite popular about 10 years ago or so. And so, yes, he's pretty good at this. And one would think, you might imagine, with such a prestigious title, Dahl must have been a talented writer since childhood. Prestigious here just means you're famous, and it's a very honorable title. People respect you, they admire you. You have prestige, for example. if you are a respected member of society. So you'd think that, yeah, if he has this prestigious title of one of the best or greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century, he might have been a talented writer since childhood. Yes, actually, lots of successful people pretty much know what they want to do when they're very young. Like many famous violinists say, oh, I started playing the violin when I was 3 years old. You know, I got an early start. Or famous writers will say that. Or athletes. I started playing football when I was only 4 or something like that. But I guess this was not the case with Roald Dahl.
Right. Some people don't discover what they want to do until a little later, but I love what one of his former English teachers said about him. He or she, we don't know. I have never met anybody who so persistently writes words meaning the exact opposite of what was intended. I think that's so funny. So if you persistently do something, guys, you do it and you just don't give up. You just keep going. You're persistent. You need a lot of persistence if you want to be successful. For example, he writes words with the exact opposite of what was intended. So maybe he meant to say someone was mean, but he wrote they were nice.
Yeah, mean, nice. Those are opposites. Cold, hot, black, white. Those are opposites. So, yes, indeed. I guess that means that he did not start out as a good writer. He could not make his point, although maybe he did that on purpose.
I think he did it on purpose.
To actually create some kind of new writing style.
Sure.
But it does say in the next sentence that Dahl eventually cultivated an inventive writing style of his own. So in this sentence, we have the word cultivate. Cultivate usually has something to do with agriculture, like growing crops and taking care of them and stuff like that, or preparing the soil to plant things in it. But in this particular case, it means you basically start making this thing your own. You work on it and you develop it. I guess we could say he developed an inventive writing style. Inventive means it's new, it's novel, it hasn't been done before, it's special.
And some of his novels are full of made-up words. He just invented words of his own, such as fizz wizards, which is so great, and scrumdiddlyumptious. Instead of scrumptious, he puts a little diddly in there, which is fun. It kind of makes it dance. Scrumdiddlyumptious. So, in fact, it was this unique style that helped Dahl sell more than 20 million copies of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's just one of his books, too, which has also been translated into 55 languages. I bet that feels good to sell that many books. That's amazing.
It does sound very amazing indeed, and let's move on now to the next paragraph here. Here it says, much of Dahl's writing was influenced by his own childhood experiences. That seems reasonable. That seems understandable.
We hear this a lot, though, from comedians and authors both. They use a lot of their own life experiences to create their art or their books.
Yeah, it sounds reasonable to me. I mean, if something has happened to you, you could probably use it to your advantage. Write about it, or it will influence your future work and stuff like that. So, yes, indeed, his writing was influenced by things that happened to him when he was a kid. Now, one notable example from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the factory itself. So this is a notable example of this. Notable here means something that is worth mentioning. It's worth pointing this out. We should pay attention to this. And this, again, is an example of something from his childhood influencing his writing style, or at least the content of this particular book. So this is a notable example. It was actually the factory itself. I guess when he was a kid, he must have known of a chocolate factory somewhere.
Oh, maybe he even lived close to one. How fun would that be? During Dahl's school days, when he was a student, two of the UK's largest chocolate makers, Cadbury and Rowntree's, frequently sent test packages of chocolate to school children in return for their opinions on their products. Oh, those lucky dogs. I never had this happen in America to me.
Would have been nice, huh?
Oh, man. Cadbury is one of my favorite chocolate companies. They produce really good tasting chocolate. Have you had their chocolate?
Yeah, they used to be quite common here in Taiwan, but I used to buy them in convenience stores all the time, but they don't seem as common as they used to be.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
I can still find it here.
Still around, but not as popular.
Oh, it's good chocolate, though.
It is, and yes, indeed, maybe if you lived in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the same thing would have happened to you. They send out samples of chocolate. We're trying a new kind of chocolate. Maybe it's chocolate with a little bit of vanilla in it, or kind of spicy, or maybe a jalapeno flavored chocolate or something like that.
I like it when they put caramel in it.
Yeah, or other kinds of ingredients, caramel or whatever. And they did this in return for their opinions. In return for could be in trade for. You do this, and then I'll do this. I'll let you borrow my car in return for you letting me use your apartment for the weekend, for example, in trade for that.
Yeah.
So I can maybe have a party or something, and you can have my car for the weekend in return for that, as a trade.
As a trade, yeah, that's a great way to say it. You're trading things. So somebody does something and somebody does something else. So in return for their opinions on the products, they got to have a lot of good tasting candy, lots of chocolate. I have never myself heard of Rowntree's chocolate, but I don't know if they still exist. They might. Although I just got back from England and I didn't see any Rowntrees.
Did you see Cadbury there?
Of course, I bought some and brought it home.
I'm still looking for a 100% dark chocolate.
Oh, I've only seen like 88% dark chocolate.
Yeah, they never have 100%. If you look at the ingredients, there's always added sugar, even if it says it's dark chocolate. But in any case here...
I don't know if you'd want to eat straight cocoa. It's pretty bitter.
Yeah, I understand it's bitter, but I understand it's also good for you in its raw form. But that's another subject.
Okay.
Again, this is something that happened when he was a kid. These chocolate factories would send out samples to the school children in return for their opinions. Tell us what you think about them, and then they will probably decide whether they're going to produce this kind of chocolate.
Kids are pretty good judges of chocolate.
It's a smart move, exactly, because chocolate, of course, is consumed a lot by children.
So cute.
Okay, well, that brings us to the midway point in our lesson for today. Let's take a break and have some chocolate now, but we will be right back.
Hello， 大家好，欢迎收听 English Digest， 我是 Trevor。今天我们要一起阅读文学单元 Unit14 的第2天课程。在今天的文章中，我们会读到小说《巧克力冒险工厂》作者 Doll 的生平背景以及他的创作理念。文章的第一段提到 Doll 被誉为20世纪最棒的童书作家之一。他的小说《巧克力冒险工厂》销售超过2000万册，也被翻译成55种语言。我们看到第一段的第2句 One would think with such a prestigious title, Dahl must have been a talented writer since childhood. 有人也许会认为，有了这么一个极具名望的头衔，达尔一定从童年时期就是个才华洋溢的作家。这一句用了一个句型 must 加 have 加 VPP， 助动词 must 在此表示非常肯定的推测，有一定怎么样怎么样的意思。must 加原形动词，代表对现在非常肯定的推测。例如 Larry has a huge collection of DVDs. He must like to watch movies a lot. 赖瑞收藏了很多 DVD. 他一定很喜欢看电影。must 后面如果接 have 再接 VPP， 这是用来表示对过去非常肯定的推测。例如 Susan isn't in her office. She must have gone to a meeting.苏珊不在办公室，她一定是去开会了。此外，助动词 could、may、might 也可以用来表示推测的语气，用法跟 must 一样，只不过在语气上并不像 must 那样肯定。could、may、might 如果接原形动词，就表示现在可能如何如何。如果再接 have， 再接 VPP， 则表示过去可能如何如何。例如 Janet wasn't at home this morning. She could have gone on a date with Kevin. 珍妮特今天早上不在家，她可能去和凯文约会了。我们接着看到第一段的最后一句的前半部分。In fact, it was this unique style that helped Dahl sell more than 20 million copies of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. 事实上，就是这种独特的风格，帮助达尔的巧克力冒险工厂卖出超过2000万本。本句用了强调句 或者也可以称为分列句的句型。强调句型就是 it is that 将句子所要强调的部分，例如主词、受词、时间、地点，放在 is 和 that 的中间，再将句子剩余的部分放在 that 的后面，有正式如何如何的意思。像是本句原本是 This unique style helped Dow sell more than 20 million copies of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory。 为了强调主词 this unique style， 所以将 this unique style 放在 was 和 that 的中间，句子的剩余部分则放在 that 的后面。我们再举个例子，原来的句子是 Peter has a massive crush on Laura。 彼得非常迷恋罗拉。为了要强调 Peter 所迷恋的对象是 Laura， 所以将 Laura 放在 is 和 that 的中间，句子的其余部分就放在 that 的后面，因此就形成 It is Laura that Peter has a massive crush on.
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back, guys. We had a nice chocolate break.
We did.
We needed some chocolate. If you talk about chocolate as much as we've been talking about it, you gotta get some. So we're back, and we're talking about the life of Roald Dahl, who is an author of numerous best-selling children's books. Of course, we're focusing today on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We found out that when he was a kid, 2 chocolate factories, Cadbury and Roundtree's, frequently would send test packages of chocolate to school children where he was a student. And they gave them the chocolate in return for their opinions on their products. Usually you don't ask kids to judge products that you're going to sell, but here it makes a lot of sense because kids know if they like something or if they don't, and they're very honest.
They certainly are, and so that was a good idea. But again, we're talking about 2 rival chocolate companies here, Cadbury and Roundtree's. I think Roundtree is actually no longer in business.
Oh, Cadbury won.
I guess so, but over time, the rivalry between the 2 companies became so intense that they even began to pilfer trade secrets from each other through spies.
Oh.
So this is a rivalry, which means they are competing with each other. There might be a rivalry in sports, for example. I guess there's one between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Hello,
right?
yes.
That's a rivalry
course.
there. Okay.
Yes.
And so it became very intense. They were really fighting with each other to try to get more business, so they wanted to pilfer the secrets from each other. To pilfer means you kind of steal something, you obtain something basically by stealing it.
Yeah, it comes from an old French word that used to mean pillage. To pillage just means to go into a village and take things, steal things. So that's where it comes from. So it means to steal. So they would steal trade secrets from each other through spies. Even today, guys, we have what we call corporate spies. People who pretend to get a job with a company, pretend that they, are just loyal employees, when in fact they actually work for the competitive company and they're there to steal trade secrets. Secrets that a company has that makes their product special and that they don't want their competition to find out.
Exactly. So they would send those spies over there, and eventually excessive secrecy became the standard operating procedure in chocolate factories. So yes, they've got to have these trade secrets. It's excessive secrecy, too much secrecy, so they probably told their employees that if you dare give secrets to the other company, you will be severely punished. So, yes, this was excessive secrecy. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, 过分. Too much, basically.
Yeah.
And this is the standard operating procedure, which oftentimes is used by companies. This is how we do things. This is our standard operating procedure.
Which is also abbreviated, and I see it here in Taiwan a lot, as SOP, Standard Operating Procedures. Yeah, so you see this reflected in the novel's main setting, Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka is also very careful about his secrets in his chocolate factory. Now we're moving on to the final paragraph. Beyond this, Doll stories typically focus on kind characters triumphing over the greedy and wicked. If you triumph, as most of you guys probably know, it means you beat somebody in some sort of competition. Maybe it's a game that you're playing, but you always want to triumph because you win and we want to be successful. Now, kind characters are good people, but greedy people want more than their share. They're also wicked, so they don't do things that are nice and good. So I like that. Besides, kids need to learn about good and bad, evil and goodness, those are good things for kids to learn about, even as they're young, because this world is pretty much good and bad, isn't it?
Exactly. So this book follows Charlie on an adventure through a candy wonderland, all the while exhibiting how his virtuous character contrasts with the negative traits of his rivals. Ooh, this is a long sentence here, but basically the book follows his adventures, or his adventure, and he's going through a candy wonderland, which of course is the factory here. And while this is happening, all the while, this book exhibits how his virtuous character contrasts with the negative traits of his rivals. So it exhibits this. To exhibit something means to show something, to let us see it, to let us know about it. And we get to see his virtuous character.
Oh.
Virtuous means you have a lot of virtues, lots of values. You know the difference between good and bad.
And you choose the good.
Yeah, he's not a bad boy. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's virtuous. But this contrasts with those who are not so virtuous. To contrast as a verb here just means you can see the opposites, basically.
Clearly the differences, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
right. So we've got these negative traits of those other ones, the one who tried to steal the squirrel and the one that changed into a big blueberry.
Because she ate the experimental gum, which she wasn't supposed to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I forgot their names already, but because the names are so funny. But in any case here,
Veruca Salt.
So we're kind of, there you go, and we're comparing them to each other. We've got Charlie, he's a good boy, but then the other girls there are trying to steal stuff, and they get kicked out of the factory and sent down the rubbish chute and stuff like that. So these are the rivals there. We did talk about a rivalry before. Well, the person or thing that has that rivalry is your rival, okay? Gee, I like that girl Cindy over there, but Don likes her too. So Don is my rival for Cindy's affection.
Oh, good luck with that. We all have rivals at some point in our lives. Once you start working, there will be other business companies, that will be your rivals. And in sports, we all have rivals in sports. If you follow soccer, hey, you follow soccer, Tom.
No, not really.
Who are two rivals?
What are the rivals? I don't know. I guess there's a rivalry between Manchester City and Manchester United.
Oh, same city.
Two football teams in the same city there, so I guess they are rivals. Yeah. City is actually doing better than United right now, but historically, United has done better. But in any case, they are rivals, or you could say they have a rivalry between them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, as Dahl's most famous work, this book captures not just the hearts of children, but all of those who bury themselves in this timeless book. I was going to say, but all of those who also love chocolate as much as kids. Some people never grow up and continue to love chocolate as much as they did as a child. I like chocolate a lot, but I don't love it. It's not my favorite candy. But I have a friend who must eat a piece of chocolate every day.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
She's thin because she doesn't overeat. She just eats a little square every day.
Okay. Well, I guess that's limited enough. I probably am similar to you in that I don't like chocolate by itself so much, but I like different kinds of candy bars that include chocolate.
I like caramel the best.
Like Snickers, for example, has chocolate, and there's Butterfinger and Baby Ruth, and a candy bar I like to have when I go back to the States is called Twin Bing, which is actually out of a chocolate factory from Sioux City.
That must be a
not
candy bar
nationwide.
that's only made in your area.
It's a local candy bar, but it's got chocolate and cherry in it.
Oh, nice.
Another candy bar I like to have. I don't think it actually has chocolate in it, though. It's called the Zero bar, just
I've
Zero.
heard of Zero, but I don't know what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's a different kind of chocolate bar. But, well, I said it doesn't have chocolate. I guess I could say it's a candy bar. It might have some chocolate in there. I don't know, but...
I think some of our listeners would be shocked if they've never been to America to walk into one of our, especially drugstores. I know your drugstores only sell like drugs, but our drugstores sell lots of things. And the row of candy is crazy. We have so much candy. So that's why a lot of Americans are so fat. But
one of the reasons.
One of the reasons, not the only reason. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is fun for kids because they feel like they're in this magical world. And for parents, it's fun for them too because they can experience their child's pleasure as they watch it with them. It's kind of fun.
Indeed, but to finish off our article, the last sentence here says, as Dahl's most famous work, it captures not just the hearts of children, but of all those who bury themselves in this timeless book. To capture here usually means to catch something, but it captures your heart. In other words, when you read this, you really get emotionally involved in it, and you really enjoy it, and maybe you even shed a tear.
Yeah. Right now we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher who won't make you sad.
文章第二段提到，《巧克力冒险工厂》这本小说的创作背景和作者的成长环境有关。当作者还在求学的时候，有两家彼此竞争非常激烈的巧克力公司会赠送免费的巧克力样品给学童，并询问学童对新产品的意见。我们看到文章第二段倒数第二句的前半部分。Over time, the rivalry between the two companies became so intense. 随着时间的推移，这两间公司之间的竞争变得如此激烈。这句有一个名词 rivalry 是竞争、对抗的意思。Sibling rivalry 就是指手足之间的竞争。如果我们要表示 A 和 B 之间的竞争，则可以说 the rivalry between A and B。例如 The friendly rivalry between Mary and Jane made both of them improve in their academic performance. 玛丽和珍之间的良性竞争，使得两人都在学业表现上进步。和 rivalry 相关的名词就是 rival， 意思是竞争对手或是敌手。例如 The team finally beat its long-standing rival and won the championship. 这支队伍终于击败他长久以来的对手，并获得冠军。文章的最后一段提到 Dahl 的小说常常传达美德会战胜贪婪和邪恶的讯息。我们看到最后一段的最后一句 As Dahl's most famous work, it captures not just the hearts of children, but of all those who bury themselves in this timeless book. 作为达尔最著名的作品，他抓住的不仅是孩子的心，还抓住了那些埋首于这本不朽之作的读者的心。这句使用了一个对等连接词的句型 not just ... but ... not just 或者是 not only A but also B 就是指不但 A 而且 B also 则可以省略，用来连接两个对等的字词或句子结构。像本句的 not just ... but ...就连接了两个名词，第一个是 the hearts of children， 第二个是 the hearts of all those。第二个的 the hearts 因为前面提过了，为了使句子简洁，所以省略。以上就是今天的课程，我们下次再会。
That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you join us again next time when we again talk about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.